First, fair, everywhere. 19 News starts now.
The most accurate weather team, first alerting you to blazing heat on its way. Thanks for joining us on 19 News and streaming on 19 News Plus. I'm Colton Molesky in for Caitlin McCarthy. Meteorologist Nicholas Snider has new data on this first alert. And Nicholas, it is going to get real hot real quick.
Yeah, that new data, Colton, actually suggesting those temperatures Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday even hotter compared to what we were seeing yesterday and days before. So we still have those 19 first alert weather days that continue to be on the board for that excessive heat. If you're going to be outside for prolonged periods of time, heat exhaustion and heat stroke could become issues for a lot of us. Look at these temperatures: 95 on Tuesday, 96 on Wednesday. Last time we saw temperatures that warm was this time last year. So it's been a while since we've seen temperatures that have been this hot. 95 also on Thursday. You factor in a little humidity to that, those feels like temperatures getting into the triple digits. And again, once you're out there in that danger threshold, heat exhaustion, heat stroke going to become an issue, especially for the kids, the elderly, and the pets. You're going to want to pay attention to those. And for folks who are outside all day doing strenuous activities like hard work and things like that, make sure you're checking up on those people both Tuesday and Wednesday as well as Thursday. First alert Doppler right now. Comfortable temperatures and drier conditions. We did see a few showers a little bit earlier on. Those have since cleared out and we're good and dry for the rest of the evening. Should continue to be dry by tomorrow morning as well. Little bit of sunshine trying to peek in through some overcast. Temperatures back into the 70s. Few upper 60s here or there. Soaring back into the upper 70s and lower 80s by the middle of the day. We're still dealing with that pesky stalled out front though, and a few showers could pop up mainly south of Route 30 during this time as well, especially during the afternoon. But we're in the lower and middle 80s tomorrow. It's finally feeling seasonable out there compared to what we have seen over the last couple of days and even weeks or so. Much more to talk about on this heat wave and those 19 first alert weather days. That's coming up in about 10 minutes.
Nicholas, thank you. Let's turn now to a Netflix documentary on Mackenzie Shirilla's case. It's drawn millions of viewers worldwide. Saturday, the victim's family held a fundraiser to turn that attention into action. Keith Grant was there tonight.
In this Brook Park bar.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for the donations.
Christine Russo checking in on a live stream with her podcast, The Big Sister Unhinged. She started it to honor her brother's legacy. Dominic Russo and his friend Davion Flanagan were killed when Mackenzie Shirilla slammed her car into a brick wall, speeding at 100 miles per hour in Strongsville. Shirilla now serving 15 years to life.
In honor of my brother, I feel like I have no control of him being gone, so I just keep going.
A Netflix documentary called The Crash, released in May, brought the case to a global audience, detailing Shirilla's conviction. Russo hugging people at a fundraiser Saturday, raising money at the bar and online for her foundation, Change the Game for Dom. The foundation will help underprivileged children play basketball.
The sport my brother loved the most.
Covering a major barrier, the cost, shoes, equipment, uniforms, and league fees for kids who can't afford to play.
And that's what he loved to do, and I love to watch him play.
Her son, who Dominic was close with, plays now too.
The same for David, my son. He's taller now and thinner, and I'm like, that's my brother. He was like my baby, all of our babies.
The foundation is not yet an official 501c3, meaning donations are not currently tax deductible. Keith Grant, 19 News.
A major new development in the Pike County massacre case. An Ohio appeals court just ordered new sentencing hearings for two people convicted in the 2016 murders. It ruled a judge abused his discretion when he sentenced them before they were finished cooperating with prosecutors under their plea deal. On the night of April 22nd, 2016, 8 members of the Roden and Gilley families were killed in 4 separate locations, all shot in the head. Some of them were killed as they slept. For more than 2 years, police followed thousands of tips, and the trail eventually led them to the victims' neighbors. George Billy Wagner III, his wife Angela, along with their 2 adult sons, George IV and Edward, known as Jake. The appeals court reversed the convictions and judgments for Jake Wagner and his mother Angela, so they can testify against Billy Wagner. Both will be resentenced. This is a case 19 News has been covering for years, and is the subject of a recent episode of our podcast, Dark Side of the Land.
There's blood all over the house. Okay. My brother-in-law's in the bedroom and looks like I beat the hell out of him.
We just found my cousin with a gunshot wound.
Okay. Sir, is she alive?
No.
8 people dead in one family. 2 babies and a toddler found alive.
All 8 victims were killed in cold blood. They were shot in their own homes. They were brutally and viciously executed.
The Pike County Massacre remains Ohio's largest and most expensive homicide case to date. The investigation and prosecution have cost at least $4 million so far, funded by taxpayers. Now you can hear the full episode, Pike County Massacre 10 years later, one trial remains in family murder case. Just search for our series, Dark Side of the Land. It's available wherever you find your podcasts. It's been nearly 12 years since Tamir Rice was tragically shot and killed by a Cleveland police officer. Today, his mother has a reason to smile. She and dozens of people were there as his memorial turned into a historical landmark. Noelle Williams has the story.
How does it feel to be in this memorial? Now it's going to be a historical landmark.
It feels good. I feel happy and accomplished and grateful.
Where Samaria Rice and I are standing is a Tamir Rice Butterfly Memorial. It is now part of Cleveland forever.
It's a mixture of feelings. It's a beautiful picture. It's a beautiful little plaque, but it's a lot of pain.
This memorial is feet away from where 12-year-old Tamir Rice was shot and killed by Cleveland police almost 12 years ago outside the Cadell Recreation Center. Samaria has since become an advocate against police brutality across the country. She is the founder of the Tamir Rice Foundation, and she's pushing for the officers responsible for her son's death to be behind bars. The 2 officers involved were cleared by a Cuyahoga County grand jury. There was music to honor Tamir during a ceremony for the new landmark. Samaria was joined by city leaders and Councilwoman Nikki Hudson. Hudson presented this landmark plaque to Samaria.
Because of Ms. Rice and her efforts, this memorial will be here forever.
Hudson says she lives not far from the recreation center and remembers that day back in 2014.
I heard the shots, and my own son, who is almost 12, was a baby. And so I remember holding him and just being absolutely heartbroken for Ms. Rice.
Samaria says upgrades to the memorial are coming, as today is a positive one. She says nothing will ever take away the pain of not having her son.
What do you think Tamir would say to you today, if you could say?
Good job, Mom. Thank you, maybe. You know, it's very emotional.
In Cleveland, Noelle Williams, 19 News.
Emotional moments in Venezuela. A mother and baby pulled from the rubble as rescuers race to find survivors of Wednesday's back-to-back deadly earthquakes. The breaking developments next.
And something we'll need to watch over the next few days, those paws. They will get very hot, especially with how hot the concrete can get. In 95-degree weather, the concrete will get up to 140 degrees. Grass even 105 degrees. So make sure you're protecting those pets as you're taking them out for walks toward the middle of next week. We're detailing out more details on this heat wave for you. That's coming up in just a bit.
Then Manhattan Mystery. Will Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce get married at Madison Square Garden next week? We're tracking down the latest clues coming up. But first, we wanted to recognize some incredible work done by some amazing journalists. Congratulations to some of our own here at 19 News at the 2026 Emmy Awards. Digital anchor Dan DeRose inducted into the Silver Circle, recognizing his 25 years of significant lasting contributions to television. He also represents the station through his work with Cleveland Missing and the Amber Alert Committee. Congratulations, Dan. Anchor Tiffany Tucker awarded the Emmy for societal concerns for her story on sextortion, a mother's journey to protect our kids. Congratulations, Tiffany. And also Mark Schwab winning the Emmy for Best Sports Anchor. Congrats to Mark. And then anchor Nicole Versansky winning the Emmy for Environmental Science News for the story Who Killed Amy? Inside the DNA lab, uncovering new clues. Congratulations to all.
Buying a vehicle should feel exciting, not exhausting. That's the Sarah way.
At Sarah Auto Park, we've created a simpler way to shop for your next vehicle. 5 trusted brands, 1 convenient location, and a team focused on helping you find the right fit for your lifestyle and budget. No pressure, no wasted time, just a better experience from start to finish.
Come see why. Driver's shoes, Sarah Auto Park.
Live from the 19 News studios, powered by Blind & Sons. For all of your heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs, this is 19 News.
Shouts of joy as rescuers pull a man from the rubble of a destroyed building 3 days after back-to-back deadly earthquakes in Venezuela. More scenes like that still giving hope. Workers digging through wreckage to reach an 11-year-old boy trapped 10 feet down. He only suffered a broken arm, but sadly, his mother and sister were killed. And new drone video shows the scale of the destruction. The death toll now over 1,400. Also tonight, U.S. aid is now arriving. Here is CBS's Camilo Montoyo Galvez.
Healthcare worker Michael Alvarado is going from street to street in La Guaira, trying to help with recovery efforts.
The mindset which we arrived here is basically to provide help for the wounded that are already rescued.
He lost several family members in Wednesday's earthquakes, but he's putting aside his pain for now, focusing instead on others.
We are here providing help, providing food, medical assistance. Right now we are trying to locate people that are still fighting for their lives.
Officials here say at least 243 people have been rescued. In Caracas, Venezuela's capital city, members of this rescue team from Mexico searching through this building say they found the body of a woman believed to be in her 30s. With her, a small white dog who was still alive. A small sign of hope days after the earthquakes.
You still have hope of finding people alive?
I think it's difficult, but we have a chance to find some people alive.
The UN says rescue workers here have seen horrific damage. 10 years of intense economic crisis and mismanagement have left this oil-rich country with a limited infrastructure.
Here in La Guaira, residents of this building say it collapsed in just a few seconds, trapping many people inside.
Dora Hernandez and her youngest son managed to escape, but her eldest son, 12-year-old Erib, did not.
Mi hijo era un futbolista, era un niño.
He was an excellent son, an excellent brother. He liked to play soccer. He was studious.
Camilo Montoya Galvez, CBS News.
Your 19 First Alert forecast, sponsored by Kissling, Nestico, and Reddick. Heard in a car? Call KNR.
All right, 319 First Alert weather days that are on the board as we go into next week. Tomorrow and Monday, though, we will be not too bad, although Monday we're going to start feeling pretty toasty. But it's Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday where things get really active. Middle and upper 90s for temperatures, those feels like temperatures getting back into the triple digits. We'll talk about the impacts of that in just a second. In the meantime, First Alert Doppler is feeling comfortable right now. Temps in the 60s and 70s. We have had a few showers earlier on this afternoon, since have faded away. Few more showers coming out of Columbus right now, though. Parts of Delaware and Morrow counties seeing a little bit of that activity right now. Not in our viewing area, but if you are in southern Richland County, parts of Crawford County, don't be surprised if you do feel a few sprinkles a little bit later on, let's say in another hour or so. Not going to expect a whole lot out of this activity. They'll continue to kind of fade away going through the night. Now, by tomorrow afternoon, a few more of these showers trying to pop up. It's this pesky stalled out front that will continue to bring this activity. I think tomorrow most of the activity, though, is going to be along and south of Route 30. So Dover, New Philly here, Millersburg, far southern Ashland County, far southern Richland County, likely seeing that activity. Very hit or miss and isolated. It's not going to be a total washout of a day. And meanwhile, if you're up along the lake shore here, you should be A-OK for any plans that you do have. Sunshine peeking through the overcast, temperatures getting back into the 70s and 80s. Yes, finally some seasonable conditions working on in for your Sunday. Again, those southern zones, don't be surprised if you see a brief 10-minute downpour or so. Have that umbrella on hand just in case, but still, even if you have plans outside in those southern zones, not expecting a total washout. Still comfortable weather overhead with this pesky low right here. The greens, the yellows signifying the comfortable conditions, but back to the west, hazy, hot, and humid conditions are building in parts of the southwest and the south central United States. And as this front moves away, that heat is going to build back into the area. Heat we haven't seen in quite a while here. So good reminder, heat exhaustion and heat stroke symptoms. Heat exhaustion, yes, you will want treatment, not necessarily an emergency. Heat stroke is an emergency, so if you do feel that, of course, dial 911. The biggest difference, two of them right here, you'll see a throbbing headache with heat stroke as well as no sweating, but dry red skin. And of course, if you know someone experiencing heat stroke, they could be passed out. So again, if you see any of those symptoms, dial 911. Heat exhaustion symptoms right here, get into an air conditioner, find a way to cool down at a pool or some sort of cold water there as well. Let's get to the forecast. 63 overnight tonight, those temps dropping down pre-dawn, eventually skyrocketing though back into the 80s for your day tomorrow. Should be a great day. Again, can't rule out a few showers here or there, especially over those southern zones. If you're going to that Guards game tomorrow, you should be A-OK and dry. First pitch at 1:40 against the Mariners here. And really a great Sunday. Monday, we start to feel that heat working back in. We're in the upper 80s and lower 90s. Tuesday, the humidity really gets going along with that heat. We're seeing oppressive to tropical humidity through the day. That makes that heat feels like even hotter heat moving back in for the day on Wednesday. Those feels like temperatures reaching into the mid triple digits here. With that, you could be experiencing heat exhaustion and heat stroke if not treated in about 15 minutes if you're outside for extended periods of time. So again, the kids, the elderly, the pets, make sure you get inside, take those breaks from that heat if you're outside Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Nicholas, I got to tell you, there's a mystery in Midtown in Manhattan. Will Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce get married in Madison Square Garden next week? Sources in City Hall confirm a New York Times report that the superstar has rented Madison Square Garden for the 4th of July weekend, with an intimate gathering of about 100 people planned, and on Thursday, a 1,000-person party on Friday, plus possible stage appearances. The Times also reporting several Kansas City Chiefs players have booked hotel rooms in Midtown Manhattan on those days. The newest Cleveland Guardian makes a big impact against the Mariners. Find out how important Cooper Ingles' first major league hit is coming up next in sports.
The 19 Sports Report, sponsored by the injury lawyers of Elk and Elk.
How about a little sports, huh? The Cleveland Guardians look to even the weekend series with the Seattle Mariners and remain a game behind the Chicago White Sox for the first place in the AL Central. Chicago won again today over Kansas City 2-1. Let's get some highlights. Slade Cecconi was outstanding. 6 shutout innings, 3 hits, and 4 strikeouts, including Josh Naylor in the second. 4th inning, the offense gives Slade some run support. Cleo Watson with a double into the right field corner. Travis Bazzana scores. That's 1-0 Guardians. Next batter, Cooper Ingle, looking for his first major league hit. And there it is, a single to right. Kyle Manzardo and Watson score. 3-0 Guardians. Guessing he's going to want to hold on to that baseball. And then the 5th inning, Brian Rocchio adds an insurance run with the excuse me swing that goes down the left field line. Bazzana scores. Guardians win 4-3. And here's Ingle on the first hit in the big leagues.
Khalil having some good at-bats today right in front of me gives you a lot of confidence at the plate. Just looking for something up in the zone and, put a good swing on something and try to drive in a couple runs. I've thought about it for a long time if I ever got here, and it's for sure going to the Pops.
And we'll be right back with another look at weather on the other side of this break.
For breaking news and 19 First Alert weather, subscribe to the 19 to Go podcast.
If you're traveling for the 4th of July, I know I am, expect a lot of traffic on the roads. AAA estimates more than 60 million people will drive to their destination between today and Sunday, July 5th. But there is good news for drivers. As Jen Sullivan reports, gas prices are coming down.
The one-week countdown to July 4th has begun, and some Americans are already traveling for the big America 250 celebrations this year.
We, over the years, saw that people really either take off the entire week or they'll leave the weekend before.
AAA spokesperson Ike Sadia says more than 72 million Americans are expected to travel 50 miles or more between June 27th through July 5th. That would be a new record. Most travelers will drive, with nearly 62 million hitting the road. And there's good news when it comes to gas prices.
We are seeing some improvement there, and that might motivate some people who maybe weren't planning to take a road trip to jump in the car and do it.
As of Saturday, the national average for a gallon of regular gas was $3.88. Prices have dropped 58 cents in the last month, but they're still higher than a year ago, according to AAA.
Gasoline prices are dropping, and in the next 30 days, you're going to see them drop.
Tom Cloza with Gulf Oil says prices have dropped because more tankers carrying oil are starting to travel through the Strait of Hormuz.
It's open enough right now so that the next 30 or 40 days, I think you'll see a lot of oil and you'll see generally weak prices.
The Strait of Hormuz has seen more traffic in the last week than it has in the past 3 months. Since the war with Iran began, maritime traffic in the strait had essentially halted, disrupting oil production and sending gas prices soaring. It appeared the U.S. and Iran were close to finalizing a memorandum of understanding. But as tensions escalate with Iran again, there's fear traffic could halt again, which could cause gas prices to go up as millions of Americans get ready to travel this week. I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
Your 19 First Alert forecast, sponsored by Kissling, Nestico, and Reddick. Heard in a car? Call KNR.
First Alert Doppler showing the drier conditions right now. We're in the upper 60s and lower 70s, too. We'll take these temperatures while we can get them because they're not going to last for too long. In the meantime, dry conditions for now will turn showery once again for your day tomorrow, unfortunately. First Alert Future View will show this activity kind of fizzling up here during the afternoon hours. Tonight, we're dry. You'll notice that here on First Alert Future View. But again, tomorrow afternoon, down toward Dover, New Philly, those same spots where we've seen most of the rain over the last few days with that pesky stalled out front will continue once again. I think mainly south of Akron we're seeing this activity. So Canton, Worcester, Ashland, Mansfield points south right along that Route 30 corridor, whereas you're further to the north of the Route 30 corridor, you should be dry, which means the Guardians game tomorrow should look a-okay. Plenty of sunshine, and those temperatures, they're still comfortable. We're not seeing the southerly wind just yet, pushing in the really hot conditions that we will see eventually going into next week. Speaking of the Guardians game, here's that forecast for you. First pitch at 1:40 p.m. They're taking on the Mariners here. Temps are going to be in the 80s here with lots of sunshine. Beautiful day for baseball for your day tomorrow. I'd recommend getting out and enjoying it. Now, again, further to the south, 19 First Alert weather app, probably a good idea to have on hand, as we will see a few of those sprinkles kind of working on through. Have that umbrella on hand as well. Let's talk about the heat, though. It's coming next week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday especially. Even Monday is going to feel hot with temperatures back into the upper 80s and lower 90s. Couple of things you'll need here. Of course, the 19 First Alert weather app and finding a way to stay cool. The air conditioning, the pools, the lake, places like that really going to come in handy. And to scan that QR code, that'll help you download that 19 First Alert weather app so you can get those weather alerts here. It's free on the App Store and the Google Play Store. Going to want to download that today in time for that heat wave coming our way by the middle of next week.
Nicholas, thank you. Let's turn now to another story concerning travel. Consumer advocates say the Spirit Airlines fallout earlier this year is another reminder to know your legal rights as a flyer, especially as summer travel picks up. That's because when airline travel goes sideways, the records you save can make a big difference. Here's consumer investigator Carice Jackman.
The first trick is knowing your rights, then knowing how to enforce them.
From cancellations, delays, and the fall of Spirit Airlines, 2026 has been a turbulent year for airline travel. It's why attorney Wayne Hassey says knowing your rights ahead of time is key. Some documentation that consumers and flyers should have right now in case things go wrong.
We're going to tell you to save everything, and everything should be in writing. Because separate and apart from maybe the rare situation of an airline winding down in bankruptcy, there are going to be rights under the U.S. Department of Transportation rules and regulations about potential refunds for meals or hotel rooms or other costs, in addition to refunds for tickets and such.
Hassie says that means saving emails, receipts, booking details, and any written communication with the airline. If you're dealing with a cancellation, delay, or other travel problems, he says those records can matter when you file a claim with the airline or your credit card company. For Spirit Airlines travelers with flight credits, vouchers, or miles, Hassie says the process will likely play out in bankruptcy court. But the recovery path, he says, is rarely straightforward.
My prediction is, if I can be so bold, you're going to end up with pennies on the dollar. And maybe sometimes in bankruptcy court, these claimants end up with nothing.
For travelers who paid by credit card, Hassie says the chargeback process can be another tool, but the timeline matters.
I'll tell you that credit card deadline is generally considered to be 60 days, but don't depend on that. The way you need to approach it is your deadlines were yesterday. You need to be on top of it.
With this Watching Your Wallet, I'm Carice Jackman.
On this day in 1985, the iconic Route 66 is decertified, meaning it is no longer recognized as part of the country's highway system. The main street of America measured 2,400 miles and stretched from Chicago, Illinois to Santa Monica, California.
That's always a road trip I've wanted to do, and it'll feel like the desert as we're going out there the next couple of days. Maybe a little bit more like the tropical areas too, with the humidity working back in. Temps back into the middle and upper 90s here. We're seeing plenty of sunshine. The heat danger, first alert weather days Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. A good reminder here, if you're outside for just 15 minutes, heat exhaustion and heat stroke could set on. So make sure you're taking breaks on those red first alert weather days there, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Are you a sweet tea guy or a lemonade guy for a hot day?
Oh, big time lemonade for sure.
I'm a sweet tea guy myself. All right, thanks so much for joining us. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend.
Closed captioning on 19 News, sponsored by Wayside and Akron, keeping it local since 1937.